You've seen it. The guy who talks the most knows the least, and somehow still ends up running shit. He's dead wrong, factually off, logically hollow. But damn if he doesn't say it like gospel. Meanwhile, you've got actual thoughts, sharp ones, doubtful ones, the kind that take effort, nuance, honesty. But you bite your tongue because you're not sure. You don't want to sound stupid. You don't want to be the killjoy in a room full of smooth-talking morons. So he wins the room, and you disappear. Again. You ever wonder how that keeps happening? It's not random. It's not bad luck. It's a design flaw in how we perceive truth. Bertrand Russell, British philosopher, logic wizard, an emotional flamethrower, saw it coming a century ago.
The stupid are cocksure and the intelligent are full of doubt.
That's not a cute quote for your feed. That's a goddamn tombstone for nuance. He wasn't just talking about stupid people. He was talking about the terrifying moment when you realise we reward confidence, not correctness. And in that world, fools don't just think they're geniuses. We teach them that they are. Be honest. How many times have you shut up, not because you were wrong, but because you weren't sure you were right? That's where this starts. Hey, rockers! Are you ready to rock? Let's rock that wisdom! Bertrand Russell wasn't ranting about dumb people at a dinner party. He was watching the world catch fire because of them. It was 1933. Nazis were rising. Loud, confident lies were sweeping the public. And the people who knew better, the ones who saw the cracks, they hesitated, they doubted, they stayed quiet. And Russell saw something lethal in that silence.
Our great democracies still tend to think that a stupid man is more likely to be honest than a clever man.
It sounds clever. It sounds like a jab, but it's not. It's a warning shot. Russell believed doubt wasn't a flaw. It was a mark of intellectual honesty. But in politics and culture, honesty dies the moment nuance enters the chat. You felt it. You're in a room. Someone says something obviously wrong, but they say it fast, loud, and without blinking. And suddenly, people nod along. You think, this is insane, right? But you question yourself, because you're wired to question things. That's what intelligence does. It doubts, rechecks, hesitates. But that hesitation costs you time. And in that time, the fool finishes the sentence, finishes the pitch, closes the deal. So the lie becomes reality, not because it was right, but because it was delivered like it couldn't possibly be wrong. Russell knew this wasn't new. He saw how cocksure certainty had always been used to mobilise the masses, even when it meant abandoning truth entirely. When bullshit sounds more decisive than truth, the world gives bullshit a title and a desk. But confidence doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It's not an accident. It's engineered. Confidence looks like competence. It's not, but it looks like it. And in a world obsessed with appearances, that's enough. You walk into a room, a thread, a feed, and the person who sounds the most certain? You assume they're the expert. They don't hesitate. They don't qualify their thoughts. They just speak like the universe handed them the answer in a dream. And part of you believes them, not because of the content, not because they proved anything, but because they seem so sure. You've done this. We all have. You've reposted someone because they sounded confident. You've taken advice from someone who just knew. You've watched a mediocre idea win because it came with swagger. And the person who actually had insight, the one who paused before speaking, who said, "I think," instead of, "I know." They got ignored. Confidence is currency, but it's counterfeitable. You don't need truth to sound certain. You just need tone, cadence, the absence of visible doubt, so the world gets filled with people who sound like they've done the work, but haven't.
Most people would rather die than think, and many of them do.
That wasn't sarcasm. That was his core belief. Russell argued that clear thinking is painful because it demands you confront your illusions. And because we hate uncertainty, because we crave fast answers, we treat the loudest person like the right one, even when they're wrong. And when that confidence wins, over and over, don't be surprised when fools start thinking they're geniuses. Russell warned, if confidence becomes more valuable than accuracy, we'll crown the loudest arse and beg them to teach a masterclass. But if confidence wins by default, what happens to those who actually think? Doubt slows you down. And that's the problem. You don't just want to be right. You want to be sure you're right. And until you are, you hold back. That's what intelligence does. It checks itself. It runs the simulation twice. It second guesses even when the first guess was solid. But the world doesn't wait for that. While you're triple checking your facts, someone else is steamrolling the conversation with half-baked takes and full volume certainty. So, they shape the moment. They shape the narrative. And you disappear into maybe.
In all affairs, it's a healthy thing now and then to hang a question mark on the things you have long taken for granted.
Russell believed real wisdom was always provisional, never final. He spent his life warning that any belief, no matter how noble, becomes dangerous the moment it stops being questioned. But let's be honest. If you say it's complicated on social media, you'll get fewer likes than a mayonnaise sandwich. When you speak with complexity, when you lead with nuance, people tune out. They think you're soft. They think you're uncertain, which to them means unworthy. So doubt becomes a tax only the intelligent pay. And the price is being unheard in a room full of noise. We silence the doubters, and then blame them for not speaking up. And if intelligence gets punished, guess who rises? Fools don't hesitate. That's their power, not wisdom, not insight, just pure, uncut certainty. And in a world addicted to speed and spectacle, certainty wins. They speak fast, they speak loud, they speak last. We don't just tolerate that behaviour. We reward it, we vote for it, we follow it, we hire it, we date it. So we build systems that reward ignorance, as long as it sounds confident.
The whole problem with the world is that fools and fanatics are always so certain of themselves.
Russell believed fanaticism isn't a lack of intelligence. It's intelligence hijacked by certainty. He saw the rise of tyrants, cult leaders, and ideologues not as a bug, but as the inevitable result of letting boldness outpace thought. This isn't just an observation about people. It's about power, and we help it along. Every time we click, every time we repost, every time we say nothing because it's not worth it, we act like staying quiet makes us smarter. It doesn't. It just makes the idiots louder. So the fool becomes the leader, and the leader becomes the fool with a podium. This isn't just annoying. It's not just embarrassing. It's structural. It's historical. And Russell was screaming about it before most of us were even born. But you're not just watching this happen, you're in it. You've been the fool. You've played the genius. You've said shit you were absolutely sure about, and later realised you were parroting nonsense with a straight face. You just forgot. Because confidence has a short memory, and ego's got noise-cancelling headphones. So you keep doing it. You say things with certainty, not because you know, but because it feels good to feel like you do.
The opinions that are held with passion are always those for which no good ground exists.
Russell didn't just warn us about fools. He warned us that the fire of certainty burns hottest when the fuel is bullshit, and we've all tossed logs on that fire. You've dismissed someone smarter because they didn't sound confident enough. You've blurted out half-baked takes because silence felt too vulnerable. You've doubled down in an argument, not to protect truth, but to protect your ego. And Russell would say, that's not intelligence. That's pride pretending to be thought. But here's the worst part. You probably didn't notice. You were convinced. Conviction is the trick. It doesn't need facts, just momentum. So the real danger isn't just that fools think they're geniuses, it's that you do too. Sometimes. Silently. Subtly. Constantly. So, how do you step out of this? You're not doomed to this, but you can't bullshit your way out of it either. You don't need to be silent, but you do need to be honest. Honest about what you know. Honest about what you don't. Honest about why you feel the need to act like you're certain when you're not. Russell's entire philosophy was about living with uncertainty, being brave enough to speak without pretending to be absolute, to let your doubt shape your voice, not silence it. You don't need to be right. You need to be real. But that kind of honesty, it's rare, because it doesn't win rooms. It doesn't go viral. It doesn't get you claps or likes or clicks or monetized. So most people will keep faking it, and the fools will keep rising. But you don't have to. So why do fools think they're geniuses? Because we live in a world that rewards confidence over truth, volume over value, and certainty over soul. But maybe that's not the real question. Maybe the real question is, why do we keep believing them? Why do we keep handing them microphones, electing them, following them, sharing their shit? So the problem isn't just overconfidence, it's us mistaking the noise for knowledge. You don't need to be a genius. You don't need to be 100% right. You need to stop pretending you are. You need to stop filling silence with certainty. You need to stop chasing the drug of being sure. Because that's how it gets you. That's how you become the fool. The confident one. The wrong one. With a camera, platform, a following, and no goddamn idea how lost you are. Remember that quote?
Most people would rather die than think, and many of them do.
Don't be most people.